Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached peak, and I mean peak irony. The Washington Post published a story yesterday in which they said, an opinion piece that said George Washington University needs a new name. George Washington University needs a new name because of racism. The historic racism that existed through our founding fathers was too hard to bear. Racism, this is from the article, racism has always been a problem at GW. The university's founding in 1821, enrollment was restricted to white men, as was the time. Again, not saying that that was good, but you can't judge people in the past by today's moral standards. I can go on reading this, and this is, none of this is going to sway anybody. Everybody who already understands the irony here is going to already get it. But here's the funniest thing, in case you haven't caught it already. I wanted to bury the lead a little bit because I wanted to see if people would recognize this before we went on to just outright say it, because I feel like it's obvious. An opinion piece said George Washington University should change its name because of racism, was published in the Washington Post. We can't have a school named George Washington University, says the Washington Post. Dude, this is what I'm saying. We've reached peak irony. My wife made a hilarious joke, which I thought was funny. She said, I wonder if people are going to say, but yeah, the newspaper was named after the state, not the person, and therefore it's okay. Again, if the Washington Post, now, this is, just to be clear, this is from a student at GW writing in the Washington Post. This is not a staff opinion columnist. This is not the editorial board. This is not a writer who works specifically for the Washington Post. But an editor still did decide to publish this. An editor did still give it a headline because this is how this stuff works. So, essentially, the Washington Post ran a story that said George Washington University, that name is too racist. We can't handle it. That's not going to work for us. It's too degrading, and the historical trauma is just too big to remember. Despite all of the fantastic things that George Washington did for the country, we can't have this name on our campus. At least that's what the Washington Post was saying about George Washington University. Or, you know what, maybe we'll go this other way. I think the Washington Post needs to change their name. It's clearly racist, and we can't stand for something like that.